So you're thinking of buying a new car and considering electric. But because buying a car is a major purchase, you want to make sure you will benefit from it and if an electric car is right for you. So in this video, we're gonna talk about the benefits or top reasons why you should consider an electric car. Benefit number 1, performance. How many times have you tried to overtake trucks, trailers, and long vehicles and hindi mo tinuloy? Because you know your car well, baka hindi umabot. Though medyo malayo pa yung kasalubong, di mo pa rin tinuloy. Things like that won't happen in an electric car because 100% of the torque in an electric car is available when you put your foot down. So that means the power delivery is instant. And if we're going to compare it to an internal combustion engine car, it has to reach a certain RPM before it could reach the maximum torque. I'll give you an example. Let's say the torque of the car, maximum torque of the car is 220 Newton meters at 5,500 RPM. So that means you can only reach that 220 Newton meters of torque if you have reached 5,500 RPM. So that means medyo tatapakan mo pa siya. Maghihintay ka pa ng 5,500. So medyo matinding apak na yon, guys. Just to give you an idea, yung 5,500 RPM, medyo madiin na apak na yon. So, merong delay. If you're a beginner and this is too technical for you, it just means torque plays a big role in overtaking and sa mga uphill or paakyat like going to Tagaytay or Baguio. And that also means you're probably going to win every stoplight race and abutan ka ng yellow light, I'm sure makakatawid yan. But please obey traffic laws, right? Now that we've discussed the performance benefit of an electric car, let's take a look at benefit number 2. Electric cars are easier to maintain. Yes, because electric cars do not have engines. That means no engine oil change, no engine oil filter, no engine air filter, no spark plugs, no transmission fluid. Also, if you're driving a manual, no gear oil, right? Wala nang gear oil, di mo napapalitan yan. No fuel injector, no exhaust system. Just maintain the brakes, tires, suspension, and that's about it. But anything that has something to do with the engine? No. Electric cars have less moving parts, and the less moving parts that you have, the less you have to maintain. And this brings us to benefit number 3, more savings. The overall cost of owning an electric car is lower compared to internal combustion engine cars. Why? We mentioned that electric cars do not have engines, and that means you don't have to maintain those moving parts that are engine components. Okay, this is not applicable on hybrid vehicles because hybrid is also a type of an electric car. It's a combination of electric motor and an engine. So this is not applicable. You have to maintain hybrid, and I will make a different video about hybrids in the future. You can also save because electricity is generally cheaper compared to gas and diesel. And the cost of fuel can literally go down to zero if you have solar panels and wind turbines. Speaking of solar panels and wind turbines that are both good for the environment, let's take a look at benefit number 4, environmental benefits. the evidence is clear. The main cause of climate change is burning fossil fuels like gas and diesel being burned by an internal combustion engine car. Electric car is not powered by gas and diesel, which makes it zero emission while running. And zero emission means your car is not contributing to climate change. And that also means better air quality, less air pollution, and it's good for our health. And if we are all healthy, it will definitely lead to less health problems. And if you think those are the only benefits of zero emission electric cars, there's another benefit. And that is benefit number 5. No more yearly emission testing. We all know that if you own a car, you are required to renew your registration every year. Except you bought it brand new, so you have to wait 3 years kasi meron usually libre na 3 years from the dealership. And one of the requirements is for your car to pass an emission testing accredited by LTO. Let me ask you, when's the last time you went to an LTO accredited emission testing center and walang tao? Never happened, right? Minsan alas 7 pa lang punta ka doon kasi sipin mo maaga ka para matapos ka agad kasi bibili ka pa insurance. Pipila ka pa kung may pila dun sa LTO office. But before you can do that, you need to pass the emission testing center. Don't you want to save time in registering your car and maybe just relax and stay in somewhere quiet? That is benefit number 6. Electric cars are quiet. Okay, we mentioned earlier, electric cars do not have engines, so no engine noise like you hear in internal combustion engine cars. Very smooth, no gear shifts. The loudest part you probably can hear are the tires touching the road. That's it. If you have a quiet car, that means it's not adding up to the noise pollution around. If you want to be technical about it, according to WHO, the healthy limit of noise pollution is 53 decibels. And that is equivalent to an average home na tahimik or walang nag-uusap. Kasi yung 60 to 70 decibels, a normal conversation na yan ng tao. So 53 average home na tahimik. And the stationary noise of an internal combustion engine car, so that means naka-start lang siya, hindi pa ito tumatakbo ha, is 76 decibels. Taas, di ba? So that's like similar to vacuum cleaner, hair dryer, or yung flush ng toilet. And most of the time, if you listen to the engines, especially diesel engines, mas maingay pa sa hair dryer yan eh. So, ganon siya kaingay. On the other hand, yung running noise ng electric vehicle or electric car is only 21 decibels or equivalent to a silent study room or library na walang maingay. Imagine how quiet the roads can be if we all drive electric vehicles. Let's take a look at another benefit of an electric car. Benefit number 7. Electric cars are more convenient. When you go to a gas station to fill up, especially every morning, most of the time, merong pila. And while you're in line, you check the price. Minsan, malabo yung price. Ang hirap basahin. You're going to pay, you wait for the receipt. Most of the time, medyo matagal yan. Kasi most gas stations, isa lang yung cashier. You don't have to experience those in an electric car. In an electric car, you can charge at your own home and not rely on gas stations. And every time naaalis ka or pagising mo, you live with a full tank. Or, electric car's case, full charge every day. Just like your phone, full charge every morning. You might not realize it, but you are most likely to be scammed in a gas station. You've heard the stories na nagpagas, pero pagdating sa daan, hindi umakyat yung gauge. And not only it's inconvenient in a gas station, if you think about it, it's a dangerous place to be in. So imagine every time you are in a gas station filling up, yung ilalim niyan, yun yung storage ng fuel nila eh. You've seen those videos na mga nasusunog na gas stations kasi meron nagtapo ng yosi or some sort of an accident. Let me just clarify. I have nothing against gas stations, alright? I'm just trying to prove a point how inconvenient it is to go to a gas station regularly. And also, the downside of going to a gas station. Gas stations are also target for bad people. Malaki yung umiikot na pera. Open 24 hours. Kaya gustong-gusto ng mga hold-uppers. Not only going to a gas station is inconvenient, it is also not the safest place to be in. And that leads us to benefit number 8. Electric cars are more safe. Electric cars are more safe compared to internal combustion engine cars. Why? We mentioned walang gas yung electric cars, except for hybrids. They replaced it with batteries. Batteries are generally heavy. If you get a AA battery, whether it's rechargeable or not, medyo may weight siya, mabigat. And that is probably the heaviest part of an electric vehicle. So, malaki yung batteries ng electric vehicles. Imagine hundreds of AA-like batteries, pagdidikit-dikitin, and then isiseal nila ng metal. So, it's going to be called battery pack kasi it's literally packed. It's sealed, and where do they put it? They put it usually on the floor of the car. When you have heavy battery pack sitting low to the ground, it lowers the center of gravity. And as a result, it improves the car's stability. Where yung chance if nabangga ka kung mag-roll over ka, like very minimal sa electric cars. Kasi yung weight niya nasa ilalim. Compared dun sa internal combustion engine cars, ang mabigat na part niya yung engine, so nasa harap. And if full tank ka, marami kang gas, nandun yan sa bandang likod usually. So, magkahiwalay. Unlike with the electric cars, andito siya sa gitna, sa ilalim. So, nandun yung weight niya. It also provides structural support at the same time. Okay, think about it. The chassis of the vehicle and then the batteries, pag nagkaroon ng side collision, let's say binangga ka sa gilid, same height ng car, pareho kayong sedan, binangga ka sa gilid, what will happen? Anong tatamaan una? Your chassis, right? And then right next to the chassis is battery muna. Right? And then, ikaw. So, masisira muna yung chassis, then there's another thing na masisira which is battery. So, mas mabigat siya, mas okay siyang structural support. That is why it is more safe to ride an electric car. Not only it is safe, but it will also significantly improve the handling and driving comfort. And finally, the last benefit of electric cars, and for me, this is the most important benefit. Benefit number 9, energy security. Right now, the Philippines is highly dependent on petroleum imports. Petroleum products are gas, diesel, and LPG. So how much are we consuming? Based on the 2016 data, almost 500,000 barrels per day. And more than half of that consumption is imported. Just to give you an idea, 1 barrel is equivalent to 158 liters. So more than half of that is imported. So imagine saan natin kukunin yung half ng consumption natin if hindi tayo mag-i-import. So ganun kalaki. Again, this is a data from 2016 and this is increasing. Kasi dumadami yung tao, dumadami yung consumers, dumalaki yung needs. The problem with importing these petroleum products is pag tumaas yung presyo, we can't do anything, right? Pag tumaas ba yung gas, hindi ka naaalis? Aalis ka pa rin because you have to go to work. Right? You can't do anything. So how can electric cars help with energy security? Simple. we can reduce our dependence on foreign oil. Alright, I'll give you an example. Imagine you have a restaurant. Like most people, you will probably use LPG for cooking. What if from 800 pesos, yung 11 kilograms niya, it jumps to, like, naging unreasonable siya, 5,000 pesos per 11 kilograms. Are you still going to use LPG? I doubt it. You're probably going to buy an electric stove and convert your cooking to electric, because electric stove can be easily powered from your local power distributor like Meralco. If you have an electric car, it's the same thing. You can charge at home or charge in a charging station and not rely on gas stations. Pag tumaas yung price per barrel, do you care? Are you going to care? Pag tumaas pa yan ng 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, you don't care kasi naka-electric ka na. What you're going to care about is the price of Meralco. But you don't need to worry kasi regulated natin yan. It's the same thing with electric cars. It can easily be powered by local power distributor. You might be asking, what if my power distributor increased their charges? Let's say it increased from 9 pesos per kilowatt hour. Let's make it double. I'm exaggerating, okay? Let's make it 18 pesos per kilowatt hour. So imagine if you're paying 5,000 pesos a month sa electric bill mo, it's going to be 10,000 pesos a month. This is what you can do. You can convert to renewable energy like solar panels and wind turbines. The good thing is you have an option. Can your internal combustion engine car be powered from renewable like solar and wind? Can't. Wala pang technologies. And also, the technology with internal combustion engine cars are already saturated. Like, we have been trying for a century, more than a century, for 100 years. What's the best thing they did in fuel consumption? 29 kilometers per liter? That's it? Gas-powered cars technology is saturated. And I think that's one reason why electric cars are becoming popular nowadays. And think about it, if the electricity is locally produced, we're going to have more employment. That's the benefit. That's why I believe this is the most important. Picture this. We are all driving electric cars. And then, where do we get our power? From local power distributor. Pag nag-increase tayo ng demand, the local distributor will increase their capacity. So what do they need? They need more people. So ngayon, do you still need to go abroad to get that job in oil and gas? No. Magkakaroon ng employment benefits din yan to us. Right? To us. Not to them. Yung Meralco ba kumukuha na employees sa Saudi, sa Kuwait, sa Middle East? No. They get it from here. They get their people from here. So who's going to benefit? Us. Because the power is locally produced. In summary, we've talked about electric cars are better in performance because torque is always available when overtaking. Electric cars are easier to maintain because they have less wear and tear. You can have more savings because overall cost in maintaining an electric car is lower. We've also talked about environmental benefits because of better air quality and zero emission. You can also save time because you don't need yearly emission testing. We've also learned that electric cars are quiet. It is more convenient because you can charge it at home. It's also more safe because of structural support and better weight distribution. And finally, energy security because it can reduce our dependence on foreign oil. You can clearly see how electric cars have an advantage over internal combustion engine cars. Do you think you will benefit from it? Do you think it's the right car for you? The choice is yours.
Somewhere by the somewhere close to harmony. When the world is sound asleep,